For the longest time, most Bleach fans, myself included, have been referring to this as Ichigo's true Bankai, while in fact, that may be so far from the truth. So today, I'm gonna be discussing about Ichigo's Bankai and what it may look like when it undergoes its first evolution. I'd like to first ask that you drop a like on the video, please watch to the end as it supports the channel, and subscribe to the channel for more Bleach videos and videos like this. Let's begin. So, as most of you already know, Ichigo has a new Bankai. It's not that much interesting because it really just does what his other Bankai did, except it's more powerful. But I will restrain anyone from writing Ichigo's new Bankai off. We got confirmation that the new Tensei Zangetsu is powerful enough to scare Yuha, and as I have always said, that in itself is all you need to know that it's powerful. So Ichigo's new Bankai, unlike others, is made from a combination of his Quincy and Shinigami powers. Ichigo's Shikai swords were forged from his Quincy and Shinigami powers, and when he goes Bankai, he combines both of those swords. His Bankai is a big black and white sword with a chain connected to it on both ends. So the mistake most of us make is by calling that Bankai Ichigo's true Bankai, and here's why. So in the final arc when Yamamoto was fighting Yuha, he goes on to explain the mechanics of a Bankai. So when Yamamoto released his Bankai, Yuha explains to Harshwell that Zanka no Tachi compresses all the flames of Ryujinjaka onto the sword, and everything it cuts is burnt by an explosive flame. To which Yamamoto replies with, "You've seen my Bankai before, but is it the same?" Which shocks Yuha. Now keep in mind, this was not the real Yuha, but the memories were indeed Yuha's. So Yuha is shocked when Yamamoto's sword cuts his robe but doesn't burn it, and he even asks himself, has his Bankai really changed from 1,000 years ago? Yamamoto finally reveals that Zanka no Tachi does not compress the flames onto the full sword, but onto the tip of his sword, unlike 1,000 years ago as per Yuha's explanation of it, and that anything it cuts is not burnt by an explosive flame but gets erased without a trace. So basically, Yamamoto's Bankai completely evolved from what it was back then. And later on in that fight, Yamamoto explains that a Bankai evolves with its Shinigami, especially a new Bankai at that, and he goes on to even give an example of Ichigo and his Fullbring Bankai, noting that Ichigo has room to evolve, which leads me to the main topic of Ichigo's Bankai. As I said before, calling the Bankai Ichigo acquires at the end of the manga his true Bankai is wrong. You can indeed call it his new Bankai, but not his true Bankai. Judging from Yamamoto's explanation, we are so far away from even seeing something close to Ichigo's true Bankai. Ichigo himself hasn't even mastered using his powers and drawing them out and truly combining them. If you play Bleach Brave Souls, then you have probably seen this form. This black and blue form is from Ichigo combining all his powers, Shinigami, Holo, and Quincy, all in one, and this form was supervised by Tite Kubo himself, which means he approved of it. Ichigo in this form can fully utilize something that resembles a Quincy bow, but it's made from Reiatsu, and he shoots Reiatsu projectiles from it. He also has his Blood Vein active all the time in this form, which is weird because Blood Vein only becomes visible when the user is struck by an attack. Anyways, so the ultimate attack of this Ichigo involves him shooting a big energy projectile, and what's interesting is that when he's about to shoot it, a manji symbol appears. For those who don't know, the guard of Ichigo's two previous Bankai's swords was a manji symbol, and including his Dangai form too. Okay, so here's where I'm heading with this. Ichigo has Quincy powers, but we haven't seen him use any Quincy abilities willingly. He used the Blood Vein twice, but that was Old Man Zangetsu's doing. Even while fighting Yuha, he couldn't utilize the Blood Vein or the Blood Artery on a whim, which means Ichigo's powers are quite far from being fully mastered by him. Heck, they are quite far from being mastered even a little bit by him. I mean, he couldn't even bring out his Horn of Salvation by himself. He needed Yuha's help. His current Bankai is just a rough sketch of what his true Bankai would be. His Bankai is created from his Quincy and Shinigami powers, yet he can't even use anything else other than Getsuga Tensho with that Bankai. Are you guys getting me? Ichigo is nowhere near mastering his powers, and even I can't tell what his true mastered Bankai is. But I can tell you what I think the first evolution of Ichigo's Bankai would be, and the powers it would possess, so let's get on to that. Ichigo can already summon his holo powers with the horn, so the first evolution of Ichigo's Bankai would involve him drawing out his Quincy powers more. I'm talking about him being able to actually use Quincy abilities. Much like the Bleach Brave Souls Quincy Ichigo, Ichigo on his first evolution of Bankai should be capable of using the Blood Vein and Blood Artery intentionally. The blood vein will boost his defense and durability drastically, and the blood artery will boost his attack power by almost double. Just imagine that. Ichigo is a really powerful Quincy, as I explained in my video of him, so I fully expect him to also output his Quincy Reiatsu when performing a Getsuga Tensho, which on top of the blood artery will double the attack power of the Getsuga Tensho. I don't expect him to become a fully fledged Quincy on his first Bankai evolution, but he should also learn how to conjure up a Quincy ball like Gerard and his Brave Soul's counterpart. Don't get me wrong, Ichigo can literally do all that while in his Shikai, but the point is him utilizing his Utmost Shinigami powers, which is his Bankai, and his Quincy powers, which are also in the Bankai. So in short, during the first evolution of his Bankai, Ichigo will look like the Brave Soul's Quincy Ichigo, but with his Bankai sword, with blood vein or blood artery being constantly active, and he can use a Reishi Quincy bow. That should be his first evolution. So to sum things up, Ichigo in the first evolution of his Bankai will look like this Quincy Shinigami hybrid that can use multiple Quincy and Shinigami abilities at the same time to create a monster like Hikone Ubugeno. In the second part of this video, I will go through Ichigo having full control of his holo powers and drawing out both of his horns. That was it for today. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, subscribe if you haven't, and I'll see you in the next one.